going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. It is August 4th, so that time is clicking away, and before you know it, we're going to be in a stand chasing some of these bruisers for the 2020 season. So excited. So we're really going to start ramping up our activity and start gathering that vital intel so that we're successful for the 2020 season. So today I brought out some of Matt's Go-Go juice. We're going to freshen up this mineral site. We're going to check several of the cameras that are here. We're also going to deploy the plot pod and show you exactly how we use that to get the best intel on the deer that we're chasing. So we have a heavily used trail, but there's really no trees to hang a camera on that's close enough to get really good intel. So we're going to use the plot pod to show you exactly how we use that. We also have several ultimate camera mounts that are going to be here. So hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully we get them tomorrow. But they are being shipped by the owner, Dennis, and we're going to get all of that set out with about 50 total cameras on 5 different properties. One property is actually a public land piece that we wanted to get some good intel on, so we're going to be getting that done. And then by the end of the episode, we're going to be climbing in a stand and doing some observation sits to hopefully bring you guys some great velvet video footage of some target bucks for this year. So guys, continue to hang in there and hopefully you enjoy the episode. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, as you can see, they are wearing this mineral site out. All kinds of big buck prints in here, so hopefully it's getting us the intel that we're looking for. Matt's definitely got the secret sauce going on, and hopefully before too long we'll be able to start distributing this and get it out to you guys so you can have the same success with it as well. But we're going to go ahead and freshen this site up and go check, do some card pulls, and then get that plot pod set out. So stay tuned. All right, everybody, it is definitely a cooler day than it has been, but we're about a mile back, mile and a quarter from where I parked the four-wheeler, so we're back here pretty deep. But you want the big bucks? You got to go where the big bucks live. Now I'm wanting to start gathering that early season intel, and this is one of the first places I know about this trail, right? They come across and come out of this thicket, this bedding. They work their way down this hill, over this little dry creek bed, and then up this hill into the ag field, which is about 500 yards that way. So what I want to do is I want to get intel of what deer are using this trail, this corridor, that, you know, if a target buck's even in this area. And so as you can tell, there's no good trees set up right on this trail, right? The nearest tree is that one way over there, about 20-25 yards away. If I set my camera on that tree, the likelihood of catching the deer that triggers it, jumping this little ditch, is slim to none. And then even if it does trigger, it's more than likely going to be bad pixels, not a great picture, not great quality, really giving me the intel that I want. So my answer is the plot pod. I can take that plot pod and I can deploy it right here off of this trail, and then anything utilizing this trail is going to trigger it. I guarantee it's going to trigger the camera, and it's going to give me a higher resolution, better quality picture, so that I'm gathering the intel that I want to gather for the early season. And again, the intel that I get right now is not going to necessarily be the intel that I need going into the rut or late season. This is early season hunting. I'm trying to narrow down if there's a target buck utilizing this corridor, and then where's it coming from, where's it going, what time of day, so on and so forth, so that I can devise a plan to hopefully set up on that deer if it makes my hit list. So going to deploy the plot pod, going to get about 2 weeks worth of intel here, and then we'll come back and we'll move it to another corridor, another heavy trail that I want to get intel on, and we'll do that for the next several weeks leading up into September. So guys, continue to hang in there. We're going to get this thing deployed out so you can see how it works, and then we'll go from there. As you can see, got the plot pod all popped up. I mean, you're talking about like aircraft grade aluminum. It's not going to rust. It's just, you can pop it up anywhere, put it in the ground, level it off, and get whatever intel you want. You don't have to worry about screwing into a tree. You don't have to worry about having a tree within range or at the right angle or whatever else. Of course, that's where we talk about the ultimate camera mount. Whenever you can have a tree, but maybe it's not the perfect tree, like here. Like your traditional straps, you're gonna have a hard time utilizing this little tree if you don't have an ultimate camera mount, because by the time you wrap your straps on there or whatever, I mean, you can do it, but one, if you watch my series, I hate straps. It doesn't do nothing but attract bugs, moisture, and of course those bugs get in your straps and then they try to get in your camera. Ultimately, if you leave them out long enough, they're going to get in that camera. They're going to cause problems to that motherboard. They're going to ruin that, you know, $100 investment, $150 investment, $250 investment. Where with the ultimate camera mount, you know, it's not touching the tree. It doesn't hold the moisture. Typically, the bugs aren't getting into it because it's separated from the tree with a small point, and you put it anywhere. But we'll get into that here in a couple days whenever I get my next shipment of ultimate camera mounts. So we don't have those right now. And again, there's my trail. Other than that little dinky tree there, but really it's not even in the place that I wanted. Like, still not going to get the intel that I actually want. This, I'm set up, as you can see, directly across from this trail. See? I'm going to point it right there, and I'll be able to see any deer that comes down that hill. It's going to trigger my camera, get a good picture of it, coming or going. It's going to give me the intel I'm looking for. 2 weeks, come back, move to the next spot. So, I'm going to get the camera installed and get it turned on, make sure it's all set, date, time, everything's done right. And then we're gonna hike back out of here. And not looking forward to that, but that's okay. Gonna leave this running for about 2 weeks. Gotta make sure I turn it on. There's a piece of advice for you. Do not forget to turn on your trail cameras. Can't tell you how many times I went and pulled a card and maybe kept the camera off on purpose because I'm working in an area just like I was doing whenever I freshened up that mineral site. You know, I kept that camera off so I'm not taking 30, 50 pictures of myself, filming and everything else. So I can't tell you how many times I forgot to go back over there and flip that switch, turning that camera on, come back 2 weeks later, month later, whatever it might be, and have zero intel because I made a mistake. So guys, we're gonna turn this thing on and then we got a long hike out of here. Wish me luck that I don't run across any snakes, hopefully. Made it back. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, out at the farm today, and we've got our ultimate camera mounts came in. We've got a ton of cameras that we're going to start putting out on multiple different farms and leases so that we really start ramping up our intel for the 2020 season. So really want to highlight the ultimate camera mount today and just talk about the versatility that this little tool gives you and how much more you can get out of the investment you've already got within your cameras. So you got a $150 camera, $200 camera. I mean, some of these things are ridiculous. And this thing just allows you to basically just, the sky's the limit. Down log, put it in there. Little bitty tree branch, put it on there. Anywhere that you want intel from, you can make this work. And the best thing about the ultimate camera mount, once it's locked in place, it's gonna be in that exact same position whenever you come back and check it a month later, 2 months later, whatever it might be. Unlike some of the other types of products that I've used in the past that have nuts on the inside where you basically can't get in there to them to really tighten that thing down once it's in position. You come back a month later thinking you're going to get great intel, and all you get is the birds because the thing's pointing straight up or straight down, because a squirrel, just like on here, jumps up on there and knocks the thing over, and then it runs pointing at the ground for the next 3 weeks. So guys, this is an amazing tool. I mean, you can take 10 of these things and throw them in your pack. They don't weigh anything, very small, and you can literally install them on any tree branch, any log, anything. And I mean, how many times you're out on a trail, you got a heavy trail and they're jumping over a log? How about putting ultimate camera mount right there in that log and catching them as they're jumping over? Just, I mean, if you can think it, you can do it with the ultimate camera mount. So guys, we're gonna get a couple of these deployed. As you can see, we got a ton of corn. We're gonna get the feeders filled today, and yeah, just keep doing some of that preseason work and keep getting with it. I was hoping to be able to get out to do some scouting and do an observation sit or two before I ended this episode, but I think we're gonna have enough footage to get out to you guys, so we'll probably go ahead and edit that and send it on its way. But we are going to get out and start doing some observation sits here shortly, and we'll make sure we bring that to you as well. All right, guys, so this is all it is. Ultimate camera mount, light. I mean, I can throw 10 of these in my pack with my cameras on it. They don't add any additional weight. But the coolest thing is you can literally install this anywhere. I don't care how small the branch is. If you got a huge tree that has no straps going around, boom, you can put this right in the middle. And what I like about that, and those really big trees, most people don't look at them to have cameras in them, right? And so all you're going to see is this big blob of a tree if you're walking through the woods, walking down a trail with get trespassers, and typically they don't pick up on that trail camera sitting in the middle of that huge trunk of that tree, and they typically don't get stolen. So one important feature of this that I wanted to talk about is the wing nut. So when you install it in the tree, so you were this way, right, and here's the tree, that wing nut needs to be to the left. So if you're looking at it, it's going to be on your left. And then whenever you want to adjust to where you want to put your camera, you just tighten the wing nut, pull a little tension, and it's locked. Well, now it's locked. Okay. So again, when I put that on there with that camera at that angle, it's going to be at that same angle when I come back, because a squirrel or a raccoon or whatever can put all the pressure on this they want, and they can't force it down, and typically aren't going to force it back up. So as tight as that is, when I come back, take my camera off, and I want to take that, you know, basically I can't turn that back. Simply back it up, wing nuts loose, and it's ready to go back in your pack. So guys, this has been an amazing tool for me over the past several years now. Met Dennis, I can't even remember what year it was, but it was at the Louisville Expo, I believe. And I saw this, and instantly I was like, man, I can think of 5, 6, 7 different ways that I can implement that right now to get intel that I have not been able to get before. So picked a couple up, and I've been hooked ever since. Make sure you get over and check them out at www.ultimatecameramounts.com. Guys, you're not going to be disappointed. He's dead. I mean, that's dead. So everybody, there's a heavy trail coming right through here. And I'm like, man, that's a perfect tree right here, because I can get them as they're coming and leaving. I told Matt that way we can kind of figure out what trails they're coming in on, what trails they're leaving on. So I'm like, man, that's a perfect tree. They're walking right past it, right to it, right past it. Well, that thing's dead. So my next best option, right here. Well, I mean, I could do that one too, but I want to show the benefit of the Ultimate Camera Mount. Matt's over here pointing like, wait a minute, there's a bigger tree over there. And aha, that's what you would typically think. But the Ultimate Camera Mount allows me to go to any level, any size tree, and use it to get the footage I'm looking for, or pictures I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw in. So there you go. Matt, you wanna come over here and get a good view of it. He knows we're losing light. But from the tree, come on this side, Matt, so they can see that. You want your wing nut to the left of the tree. So that way, whenever I mount my camera and I find the angle that I want to put it on, I'm going to tighten that wing nut down and then pull a little pressure on it, and it'll be locked in place. So if it's to the left, you'll never get the pressure. Does that make sense? So I know I had somebody else buy one of these and kind of hit me up and said, hey man, this thing won't stay. And the wing nut was on the other side and kept breaking the seal there. So Matt, you want to step back there and kind of eyeball this one? All right, so as you can see here too, like when I'm tight, I'm actually facing the wrong way. So I just simply come here. I'm gonna take this wing nut, tighten it up on my camera to where I want to go. And you can see how tight that's getting there. Is that about where you want to go? Down?
Right there.
So then I'm just gonna keep working it back and tighten that wing nut. You like that? You need to go this way?
Just tilt it. Yeah, lean over there. Right there.
Right there. So there you go, guys. Little bitty tree. That'd have been a pain in the butt to wrap your strap around multiple times. It's concealed. It's on there. It's tight. Squirrels can sit on it. Everything. It won't mess it up. I'm on a heavy trail coming out of this feeder, It's going to give me good intel and tell me where the deer are coming from, what time of day, if they're coming this way, if they're going that way, and then we can better devise a plan coming up in the early season, which we're on the countdown.
Da-da-da-da.
We're on the countdown. So, you think it needs to go that way some though?
Tilt it over.
Like this?
There you go.
All right, we're in. Like I said the other day, as I almost did, don't forget to turn your cameras on. So this one I've got set on custom. You want to wait to make sure your memory card's seated good and the timer starts counting down. So we're good to go. All right, so we are hiking. We got on this trail and there's a little ledge. I don't know if you can see it, but right over there. And then there's another bed right here. So we're only, I don't know, 40 yards-ish. We're on this trail and we're gonna set another camera. So then that way, basically we have 4 access points coming to this feeder with cameras on them. So again, giving us that intel, who's coming where they're coming from, what bedding cell they're coming from, how they're getting here, when they're coming. So we're gonna walk on a ways out this way until we find some more sign, and then we're gonna drop another camera. So keep hanging in there with us. This is heavy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beat down. Found this spot right here, and this is that trailhead. So there's a trail going this way, another trail going that way, and it runs down the hill over here. But it all intersects right here, and then comes this way, and then heads all the way back over to our where we have that feeder set up. So I was like, all right, let's put it right here. But then I'm thinking about it, what if they come off of this trail and hang a hard right onto this trailhead, and then it's going to trigger it, but they're already going to be past the camera. So I don't like that idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ultimate camera mount and mount this camera right down here on the tree. So when they get on this trail, it's triggering the camera. We're guaranteed to get a picture. So just food for thought. All right, so it is August 11th and still have not made it out to do an observation sit. Was wanting to do it last night, but unfortunately by the time I got off work, we had a storm pull in, and it was pretty bad. Matter of fact, on my way back here, a bunch of trees dropped. I'm looking at one right now. A big branch fell. So not really a place I wanted to be, out in the woods with heavy winds and pouring rain last night. So didn't get my observation set in. And then of course today, too long of a day at work to really have enough time to get back here and get set up for tonight. So before I close this episode out though, I wanted to talk about one in particular deer that we were really excited to find out at the main farm. And that is, if you remember from last season, Frisky. And I called him Frisky because every time I see him, he's always just out in the field playing around, bouncing around. And so for that reason, I really thought that he was probably a 2.5-year-old, but it was hard to tell with how tall his rack was. And this year he did show back up, so really excited, but it did confirm that last year he was just a 2.5-year-old. I'm pretty positive that this year he's going to be a 3.5-year-old by the time season rolls around. So unfortunately will not make the list. Plus he didn't put on any mass at all. Real thin tined, maybe put on a little width to his antlers, but I would say at best maybe an extra 10 inches. I mean, I know it's a little early to tell, but I would say by season, by the time he's hard-horned, he might be about 10 inches bigger than he was last year. And he's, I believe, only 3.5, so he's not going to make the list this year. But it is really cool to see that he's still there, and he's going to keep populating those genetics. And I mean, for a 2.5-year-old to have the size of rack that he had last year, and then what he's got this year, I'm pretty sure that next year or year 5.5, by 2 years from now, he could blow up to be an absolute giant. So really excited to find him. Like I said, I'm going to put a couple more cameras out here on this property today. I'm going to go ahead and do a card pull from about a week ago on this primary camera out here on this mineral site. And then we're wrapping this episode up. So guys, continue to tune in. If you have not hit that subscribe button already, get down there and smash that subscribe button. We are going to have a phenomenal season 3 here at Deer 30 Outdoors. So excited about the everything that's happening. All the guys are ramping up. Looking forward to bringing you some of their activity and some of their hit list deer that they're going to be bringing to the table this year. And yeah, just really excited about the 2020 season, especially with everything that's going on in the world. It's just, there's no better place to be than out here, away from all the noise, you know, just with Mother Nature, out in the woods, by yourself, and away from all the craziness that's going on in our world today. So, like I said, looking forward to it. Get down there and hit that subscribe button. And as always, wake up and hunt.